Welcome to the Power Factor Show. Episode 170.
The bandwidth for this episode of the Power Factor Show is brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network. FirearmsRadio.tv.
Sponsored by Taylor Freelance, Rainier Ballistics, Hodgson Powders, and JPL Precision.
Hey Power Factor fans, I'm Larry, and I'm here to tell you today about a great resource for training, and that resource is my friend Ben Stoeger. He has got himself a series of books and now a DVD that I want to mention as well, and this is a comprehensive, what I would say it's a comprehensive program between multiple books that he's got out, DVD that he just put out, and just, I mean, his style, if you don't already know Ben Stoeger, he's now 3-time in a row U.S. national production champion. He started, I would say, about 2004, 2005 when he came on the scene shooting his Beretta. Like I've mentioned before, I was pretty hot and heavy, always on the Beretta forum, posting tips, answering questions, talking about just Berettas in general. It's when I was shooting my Beretta back in production, back 03 to 05, and it's kind of really the only game gun I had at the time. And so Ben Stoeger shows up and he says, "Hey guys, look, here's my initial classification, Grandmaster, the first time I've ever been classified." So we were all pretty enamored by that, and really we just thought that he had, before really knew that much about him, we just figured this guy's just a born natural talent, right? I mean, just woke up one day and took a pistol and went, "What? I'm supposed to shoot the target? Okay, boom, how's that? All right, shoot all those targets, boom, 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 boom. All right, well, no big deal, right?" And we all thought that just came just like very naturally to him. But you read these books and you look through his stuff, and really that's not how he got to where he's at. He took this sport and he's very, very analytical. He took the sport and analyzed everything that there was to know about it. It's like, all right, well, how do you get rank in the sport? Through classification system. Let's take a look at these classifiers. What does it take to have a 95% or better, which is a Grandmaster score? And said, okay, let me shoot this. All right, well, okay, I wound up with, 75%. What would it take for me to get to 95%? If I shot perfect points, I would have to have, X amount of time. All right, well, let's just do it. How do I get my time down? Let's work on my draw. Let's work on my reloads. Let's work on my, fundamental skills. And that's what all this stuff is all about. Ben is all about being very, very analytical on figuring out what it is that's holding you back. And he takes this approach as a very just kind of common everyday guy. Let's just break this down, figure out where you're lacking, and let's just improve those skills. He's very big on dry fire, 7 days a week at home. That is where you can improve a lot of your shooting skills, and then take it out to the range in live fire to verify that your skills are improving, and then get to the match and verify there as well. So I've seen various products from various trainers and Grandmaster shooters. They just go, "Oh, well, I'm a Grandmaster, I've won some national titles, or I'm a contender at the national level. It's time for me to sell some books or sell some DVDs," right? And you get some guys that will put out one DVD and that'll be it, or they'll put out a DVD and then some years later put out a different DVD, and that might contradict themselves a little bit here and there. With all the various products that we've got here from Ben, everything is very comprehensive. And I want to start, I guess, by talking about the DVD, which just came out, called Training to Win. I've got my little cue card here. Training to Win. And that is, you've got Ben Stoeger and his friends Matt Hopkins and Chris Kozel. Matt Hopkins is a Grandmaster in production, and Chris Kozel is an A-class in open division. Well, right off the bat, you might be thinking, why is a Grandmaster in production training? You know, why does a Grandmaster need training? He's already a Grandmaster, right? Well, you can become a Grandmaster on paper, and I don't know Matt Hopkins, so no offense to Matt, but I haven't seen his name at the top of the leaderboard at any national contest. So while you can be a GM, are you a contender at the national level? And if not, you've got some things to work on, even if you're a Grandmaster. And if you have that desire to be, you know, maybe you're in the top 20, maybe you're in the top 25 nationwide at a particular national championship, maybe you want to be top 5. That's going to take a lot of work to get to that point. So the tips that are in this DVD, in the video, are geared for any level of shooter. The DVD starts off with dry fire techniques, and they're in the house, they're in the living room, they're videoing, they've got their scale model targets, you know, put up on the wall at, you know, various distances. The smaller the target represents the farther distances. Small plates, small little circle targets for plates, and you work on a skill in dry fire. That's kind of where the DVD begins, on a certain skill. And then they'll take it to the indoor range and work on it in live fire, and they'll set up, you know, maybe you're working on a bill drill, and which works on certain techniques, like make sure you got a firm grip, make sure you're tracking the sights, a good fast draw out of the holster, a good solid repeatable draw out of the holster, all are very necessary skills to execute a good bill drill in, you know, for example. So they work on that in dry fire. They take it to the range, the indoor range, and they put up a few targets and they work on that. And then they'll take it to the outdoor range and set up a little stage that tests these skills. And they go through on the video about, you know, 6 or 7 different major areas that go through that process of dry fire, live fire, and then match scenario. And then they'll run the scenario a couple of different ways. You know, these Matt Hopkins and Chris Kozel, they'll run the stage one way, and Ben will shoot it also, and they'll figure out, all right, well, what could have we done better? You know, could have hit your reloads faster, could have gotten a position faster, could have made your hits better. In this case, watching Chris Kozel shooting his open gun, I see myself watching him. He's an A-class shooter, he's shooting open. I'm an A-class shooter now in limited 10, and still there's so many things that it's like, yeah, I made A-class. I don't spend a lot of time training, dry firing, any of that stuff, and I've just naturally got myself to A-class after a long period of time. And I see the mistakes Chris is making in these videos, and I can see myself making the same mistakes. So just by watching the video, I'm learning a little bit about, hearing Ben talk to him. It's almost like Ben talking to me, saying, "Why did you do that? That was horrible," you know. So, and then the cool thing, like I was talking about, other trainers might put out a DVD and then 5 years later put out another DVD, and they might not have anything to do with each other. In this video, in the DVD, on Ben's Training to Win DVD, he will reference his books that he's got out, like Skills and Drills, and it'll say, hey, this comes from page 40 or whatever of Skills and Drills, or this comes from Practical Pistol, page whatever. These are the techniques we've been talking about in these books, and we've got them in writing, in practical pistol, fundamentals, and competition skills. We've got them in skills and drills here, in various drills that are set up in this book. This is a live fire and dry fire book here, and then in his other books, which are, the other one was champion shooting, a proven process for success at any level. That's another book that he's got out there. And so this is a evolution. I would call it an evolution from Ben's 3 books he's got out, and then now the DVD kind of culminates everything, puts it all together, and it's really put together very well. So the point of this episode is to plug his stuff. He sent us some things to review and check it out, and to share it with you guys, and I really like it. I like Ben's style. I like the fact that he's approaches this from kind of the everyday guy point of view, and that DVD is brand new, as well as this skills and drills book came out, I don't know, a month or so ago, and that's also another product on the market here. Chapters I want to point out in skills and drills just real quick. He's got my journey. This is, where he came from, and like I said, he was not born a grandmaster shooter. He worked at it in a very short amount of time. Ben ramped up his skills to grandmaster level very, very fast. From the time I think from about the time he picked up a gun for the first time, about within 12 months he was shooting grandmaster level, and so that's pretty impressive. And this is basically the roadmap of how to get there, and I really have confidence that it would, if you put the time in and work on these drills, these are all the fundamentals that you need to get to that point. I love this part 1, you're doing it wrong. That's chapter 1. So basically, if you're not winning a national championship and that's your goal, then you're doing it wrong. And this talks about how to get there, and it talks about it breaks down all these different profiles, because Ben not only does he analyze himself, but having a lot of friends in the sport and going nationwide training people on weekends, a couple weekends a month I would imagine. He sees a lot of the same mistakes, time and time, everywhere he goes. So we've got all these different profiles, different people that he sees out there, and I definitely fit into one of those. And it's kind of funny. I'll read this. He says, let's see, you're doing it wrong. And here's the profile I fit into. I'm the no real practice guy. And he says, it is of course very common to see people in the training paradigm where they don't really do much of anything, show up to club matches and the occasional major match, and really don't have very high expectations in terms of results. These shooters put themselves in the I just do it for fun category. They may not know how to practice. They may not have range access. The reasons for not practicing are virtually endless. If you find yourself in this category of shooter, then I'm a bit surprised you're even reading this book. If you're interested in improvement, want to do better, the bottom line is you absolutely can get better at shooting. Blah, blah, blah. So this talks about, that's the profile I fit into, really, to be honest, is no real practice. I'm the kind of guy that, just like this says, I show up to a club match once a month, twice if I'm lucky, and I just shoot and let the cards fall where they may. And I really do it for fun. I do it to support the sport. I enjoy range officer, officiating, whether it's as a CRO or a match director or range master, what have you, at local matches. I really enjoy being a CRO at the area level match. I like officiating as much or more than I enjoy the shooting. It's fun for me to be a part of the match, make it help it run smoothly, and do my job as a impartial officiator at that match as a range officer, to make sure every competitor has the same shooting challenge, the same equal presentation of targets, all that stuff. And I really do enjoy that. So There's other profiles that he outlines here. Used to be good, but I quit practicing. Disorganized is another guy. Dry fire a lot, live fire a little. That's another problem you might have. There's the sporadic trainer, a guy that might do a whole bunch for a couple months and then not at all for the next 6 months or so. You've got guys that train all live fire, no dry fire, just live fire training. That's a problem too. You've got the worker bee mentality is listed in here. You got the gear fiend, guys that just keep buying gear to try and fill the void that they should be training to get better, instead of trying to buy the better holster or the better gun or the better mag pouch or what have you, the better shoes, better glasses, what have you. So there's a lot of different profiles in here, and you will find yourself fitting into one of those, and it's interesting to read about all that. So part 2, how to use this book. It talks about, we've got training blocks, how to organize your live fire training. We've got marksmanship training, which is the core, just marksmanship, plain old marksmanship, like you did when you were, most of us, when we picked up a gun for the first time, we would just go to the static range and just try to hit that bullseye and just work on putting one bullet on top of the other. Those are still very good skills to have, things that, at least for me, have kind of gone out the window, because again, I don't shoot at all. I really don't shoot at all unless I'm at a club match. So these are all things I know would benefit me, and I've just not dedicated the time, not been able to dedicate the time. And I like it talks about in the passage I just read, I don't have range access. I do have a hard time finding a place to shoot these days, and I'm not a member of our club, which I could be, but I know that it's costly, and I don't have a whole lot of time to use it. So that is a problem. So for me anyway. But we've got also, in how to use this book, we've got the core USPSA skills. These are skills that will help you score well on classifiers. These are, fundamental action shooting skills, more than just marksmanship, but things like the draw, things like the reload, classifier-based skills, turn and draw, not a lot of running around. These are the core USPSA skills. We've got field course skills, short course skills, and there is a chapter devoted to each of these. We've got marksmanship training as chapter 3, and we've got just plain old group shooting. Here you go. Just put a target out there with a dot at 25 yards and plug away. No time, no draw, no timer's not involved. We're just interested in marksmanship, and that is something that I know would benefit a hoser like me, for sure. We've got 2 rounds at 25 yards, for example. We've got 25-yard bill drill, 50-yard bill drill. Marksmanship is more than putting 2 rounds in the A zone at 5 yards. That's a skill that we should all be able to do with our eyes closed. One famous drill that's in here under marksmanship is Frank Garcia's dots. We got the dot drill here, and that is a I read about it here in this book. I listen to Ben's podcast, and at one point this came up, and just listening to it, it doesn't sound that bad. It's a 5 seconds out of the holster, 2-inch dot at 7 yards. A 2-inch solid dot, you can make that with a template. You can get a sticker, whatever. If your bullet touches even the outside of that circle, just like in USPSA, if we break the perf, if we touch the perf, you get the higher score. So it's basically a 2-inch dot, but you can be just a little bit outside of it and still touch it and still get the hit. Well, the drill here is 6 rounds in 5 seconds on 1 dot. Repeat that 6 times, and it's pass-fail. 36 out of 36 is the goal, and it is timed. And it might not sound that hard, but according to this, it is a rare thing to find a shooter that can do that. And if you can do that, that is then you're reading your sights, you're getting your proper grip, you're doing everything right if you can accomplish that goal, for example. So these are things that I read about and I think, yes, I need to get out there, I need to do this. Another thing Ben talks about is setting up stages, setting up small courses, setting up drills, and using the timer to indicate when it's time to draw the gun and shoot the targets, but put a piece of tape over the screen and don't look at the time. And focus on getting your hits. Don't focus on the time. And again, a pass-fail type, is how you judge yourself in a practice like that is all A's. Try to shoot nothing but alphas and read those sights and get back to your fundamentals. I remember when I first started, I shot all A's, and it's been a long time since I've shot all A's. I'm basically turned into one of these hosers that Ben talks about, and reading this gives me some inspiration that there is a way out. I just need to put the time in, basically, and work on these skills. So we get our core USPSA skills. We've got, like I said, field course, short course skills. We've got how to design practice stages. There's such a great amount of information in these books. So that's basically the point of this episode, I guess, is to plug these for Ben and let you know that they're out there, they're available. And I would say that yes, even if I were to put the time in, I think I could improve my shooting, make it from low A class maybe to master in short order. I know where my skills are lacking. This book helps me, just sitting on the couch reading the book, it helps me pick the things, because I know the things, I know where I'm lacking, and what I would do if I was to go out and practice. I know exactly what I would do. So it is somewhat inspirational for me, and maybe this year, before Area 1 comes around in May, I will try and get out there and get some practice in. So hopefully you guys just be aware of these the books and DVDs that are out, and check out benstoeger.com. He's got his pro shop there. You can buy, if you like the mag pouches he uses, he'll sell you mag pouches. He's got books that he produces and DVDs, and the Hundo case gauge that we showed, that really helps speed up your case gauging by at least cuts the time in half, if not better. And good products, good guy, good everyday guy, and he's just like you and me, but he's extremely analytical. And if you're wondering, how do I get better, this book and the DVD will show you where you're lacking. So thanks for watching. Check us out on Facebook. Like us on Facebook, please, at facebook.com/powerfactorshow. If you have any questions or comments and anything like that for us, send it to our email address, powerfactorshow@gmail.com. Our website's powerfactorshow.com, and we're now a part of the Firearms Radio Network, so check them out as well. Thanks a lot. See you next week.